Hello everyone, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so you're welcome once again to the Bincom ICT Career Talk. I'm most especially really excited to have all of you here. And my name is Joy Kano, and as usual, I'll be your host for this edition of our ICT Career Talk. Okay, so while we're waiting for other people to join, let's just stir things up a bit. So please do well to send in your name, what you do, and your expectation for this program. And also send a link to any of your social media platform that you would love us to connect with you on. So please send in your name, your expectation for this event, the role, what you do, and a link to your social media handle. So I'll start. I'll drop my details as well, and then every other person can follow suit. But if you like to unmute and give us a little introduction, I mean, that's very welcome. So please do well to send in your name. My name is Joy Nkanu, and I'm a project manager here at Bincom Dev Center. I am excited to have you here. So please do well to send in your name, what you do, your expectation for this event, and a link to your social media handle so we can connect with you. So we'll be doing that for a few minutes and then we'll proceed to the event properly. Okay, the street is really, really quiet. Nobody is sending in, so I think we're going to change it. So you can drop your LinkedIn URL in the chat, and then I'm just going to call people at random to give us a brief introduction. Tell us your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and just drop the link to your social media handle in the chat. So since nobody is typing, I think we like talking. So let me call some people to give us a little introduction. Hi Samuel. Please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do, your expectation for this event, and drop your link to your social media handle. We'd like to connect with you. Samuel.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Samuel Ekele, and I'm an IT infrastructure and DevOps engineer. My expectations um, is to learn the strategies, uh, how to brand ourselves as a techie, and uh, you- uh, and also how to take advantage of social medias and any other mediums to actually um, brand ourselves, making people in our cycle know what we do and all that, and also to connect with like-minded people here as well.
Wow, thank you. That was a good one. It's nice to meet you. Okay, Adekunle, please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do, your expectation for this event, and drop a link to your social media handle that we can connect with you on. So please unmute and speak. Adekunle.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning. I'm Adekunle and I'm a designer here at Bincom Dev Center. My expectations for today is I would like to know the process of building a personal tech brand for myself. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Adekunle. Hi, Idima. Can we get to meet you? Tell us your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and a link to your social media handle that we can connect with you on. Please unmute and speak.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Biridi Machuku. I'm a project assistant. So just as the topic implies, I expect to learn strategies that I can apply in order to build a strong personal tech career brand.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you so much for that. Hi, Onyedikachi Uche, please can you unmute and let's get to hear your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and a link to your social media handle that we can connect with you on. You can drop the link in the chat. So please unmute and tell us your name.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name
Good
is
afternoon.
Wendy Uchi, and I'm a graphic designer at Bincom. I want to learn more about tech. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. All right, so who else is on the call that I haven't called? Hi, Sophiat. Please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and a link to your social media handle so we can connect with you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sophia Lawal. I'm a UI designer. I also work in Bincom, and I'm here to learn more about how to build a personal brand and to also enlighten me more about the tech career journey. So that's why I am here.
All right, thank you so much. It's nice to have you here. Thank you so much. Hi, Victor. Please can you unmute and tell us your name?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please
My
tell
name
us
is
your name
Victor.
here and what you do.
My name is Victor Okonkwo, and I'm an IT infrastructure DevOps engineer. I'm here to learn how to further brand my personal IT brand to be um, to be better. My link to LinkedIn is on the chat box.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending in a link to your social media handle. We'll do well to connect with you. Thank you. Hi, Madam Comfort, please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do, your expectation for this event, and a link to your social media handle that you would like us to connect with you on.
Hi, Joy. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm Comfort, and I'm a project manager and a product manager. I'm happy to be here, and I wish to learn more about brand um, brand building. All right, so I'll be dropping my link very soon to the chat box. Thank you, Joy.
All right, thank you so much. I think we've gone around everyone. I think Hosaina, please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do, and what your expectation for this event is. Also drop a link to your social media handle that we can connect with you on. Hello, Sina, can you hear us? Okay, so I don't think she can hear us. I think we'll just get started already. So once again, you're welcome to the Bincom ICT Career Talk, and I want to thank you all for being here today for what promises to be an insightful discussion on a topic that touches every aspect of our career and personal growth. And we have the theme that says building a strong personal tech career brand. So whether you're a developer, or you're new in tech, or you're not new in tech, you're an expert, or you're just a lifelong learner, putting ourselves out there is one thing that would get us to reach, that peak we've always looked out for, right? So today we're going to explore what it truly means to build a strong personal tech career brand. Building a strong personal tech career brand means you creating a positive and recognizable image of yourself in the tech world that showcases your skills, your strengths, and your personality. So maybe you should think of it as marketing yourself like a product or a service, so people in the industry know what you're good at and why they should work with you. And I'm sure most of us here are on the same page of, wanting to know what is the best strategy to actually put ourselves out. I see some people do 100 days of coding, and this is just them, talking about what they are learning and different other things go on. All of these are just, ways on how we can put ourselves out there. And then there's also going to be a problem. You're tired at some point, you're not consistent at some point. So we have a lineup of amazing speakers that are going to help us with that. They're going to, give us insights on how we can define ourselves, how we can show what we know how to do best, how we can stay relevant and visible in our field, and how we can be consistent with putting ourselves out. Why is this topic really important? When people search for you or they hear about you in the tech world, they'll see a well-rounded and professional individual who knows their onions, right? So this opens door for job opportunities, lots of collaborations, and other exciting opportunities. So it is necessary that your personal brand is your reputation in the tech industry. And for you to build it means that you have to have the right strategies in place to get started. And then I know you would have a lot of questions at the end of this event. So I want you all to keep as many questions as possible. We're going to make sure that we go around and ask every single person that one question that is on their mind. So please, in the course of this program, if you do have any question, please do well to ask. I would be happy to or our speakers would be happy to give you answers. So this event again is brought to you by Bincom Dev Center, and Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location technology, talent development, and solutions platform. We have our locations first virtually, and we also have our location in Lagos State. We have our location in Oyo State. We have our location in Kano State. We have our location in Kaduna State. We have our location in Ogun State. We have our location in Delta State and the United Kingdom. This event promises to be exciting, so I would love us to keep a notepad by our side or a jotter by our side to take notes as many information would get today, so that it's not just going to be in our heads. We would also be able to impact it to other people and tell other people about it. So if you stay to the end of this program, there's something for you. I won't tell you what it is right now, so please do well. You don't want to miss out on it, so please do well to stay with us till the end of this program. You're all welcome once again, and I think would get on to calling our first speaker for today. Okay, so one of our speakers is yet to join. So in the meantime, um, James Chuku, please, you're just joining us, and I'd like to get to meet you. So can you tell us your name, unmute and tell us your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and a link to your social media handle so we can connect with you. Hello, James, can you hear us?
Yeah. Good afternoon,
Hi,
Joy.
good afternoon. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you now. I was actually struggling to hearing you better initially.
Okay, so please tell us your name, what you do, what your expectation for this event is, and a link to your social media handle that we can connect with you on. Please go ahead.
Okay, me, I should say by word of mouth, or I should put in the chat box.
So you can, that's why I asked you to unmute and speak. So you can just say it and then drop the link in the chat.
Okay, all right. My name is James Chukwu. I'm an infrastructure and DevOps engineer with Bincom Dev Center. Now, my expectations today is first and foremost get knowledge, because I so desire knowledge. And I strongly believe that knowledge is what first and foremost sets us apart from others as well. So I desire to get knowledge first and foremost that would help me position my brand, my personal brand, in a more better way than it is, and also make me a lot more attractive globally. So that's what I am very much hopeful to get in this event today. And I think for my social media handle, my LinkedIn link, I think I can drop that in the chat box. Don't know if I'll be able to say that by word of mouth. I cannot get it correctly. Oh, but then my name is James. But then I think
Thank
it's
you.
better off if I drop the link on the chat box.
All right, thank you so much. That was a very good one. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. All right, so before we proceed to calling our speakers, I know we all, most of us here have challenges with putting ourselves out there, building that interesting, nice personal brand. So I like to hear some of the challenges that we have, and then I will take note of these challenges. So when our speakers come up and it's time for questions, we can address some of these challenges, or probably during the course of this conversation, we'll be able to have all of those questions in our mind answered in one way or the other. So I'm going to just call at random. If you hear your name, please just unmute and just give us a little insight into some of the challenges personally you have faced building your tech career brand. Okay, so I'm seeing Victoria on the call. Victoria, please can you unmute and tell us your name, what you do for this, what you do, what your role is, what your expectation for this event is, and also drop a link to your social media handle so we can connect with you. So please, and then when you're done, I would also like to hear some of the challenges you've personally faced trying to, build your brand in the tech space. So please, you can go ahead, Victoria.
Okay, yes, hello. Hi, good afternoon. Please, can you hear me? Mara Divosi.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So my name is Victoria, like you rightly called. Okay, part of being from in the Python plus data science team. Okay, so that's basically what I do. And okay, what my challenges have been during a tech career. Right, I feel that the challenge. I don't know if I should call it a challenge, but then normal. What is expected is that you just need to keep up skilling. All right, so you cannot always, you don't have to apply what you knew yesterday to today. So you, for us, while we are writing code, there's no just one specific way. You may be used to a pattern of writing a set of code, a block of code. Before you know it, maybe the next time you're writing it, you discover that the whole lot has changed, and that particular block of code is no longer recognized. So I don't think I should call it a challenge, but then one of the things I get to face um, as a Python developer is that you just need to keep upskilling. You need to always keep yourself abreast with the latest changes in your field. So I think that's like one of the things I can think of right now. The link to my profile LinkedIn will be on the commenting. Especially Joyce, have I answered all the questions here?
Yes, please. Thank you so much for that. That was a very good one. I like that you said we should always keep upskilling. Okay, so Idima Chukwu, please can we hear some of the challenges that you faced trying to build your personal tech brand? Please, you can just unmute and speak. Hello, Idima, can you hear us? Hello, Idima, can you hear us? Okay, hi Oluwatomi. Please can you unmute and tell us some of the challenges you faced building your personal tech career brand? Hi Oluwatomi, can you hear us? Can you unmute and speak? Let's hear some of the challenges you've personally faced trying to build your tech career brand.
Hi everyone. Can
Yeah,
anyone
we
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes, we can.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, some of the challenges I've personally faced while building a tech career brand, not being in the right community. Because I noticed when I was testing tech sector, then I started as a UI UX, and I was stuck. I didn't know what to do, and after a while, I got into um, an organization where I was able to check my skills in HR, and I fell in love with it. Coming to Bincom Dev Center has given me more opportunity that in that sector basically to utilize my skill and learn more things. So I've learned that getting in the right community was part of the challenges I experienced at then.
All right, that's a good one. Thank you so much for that. So, for me personally, building a personal tech career brand, I don't even know. That's why I'm here to learn, right? Because for me, it's more about consistency. I think most of us had this resolution earlier this year that we are going to put ourselves out more. We're going to work on our portfolio and likes, and then the year goes by, the months passes by, and then we're still stuck somewhere. We're neither putting ourselves out nor doing anything, rather than commenting and liking on other people that are putting themselves out. But it's okay. It is totally okay if you do not know the way. That's the reason why we are here, and that's why we want to learn. So please, that's why you should have a notepad, and that's why you should ask as many questions as possible. So please do well to keep a notepad so you can drop or jot down many information that will be shared today in this session. And I hope at the end of this event, we should be able to use this information to build our tech career brand professionally, and we'll do it right this time around. So thank you once again for taking our time to being a part of this event. All right, so I'm going to be calling our first speaker for today. And our speaker for today is Mr. Bade, who is the CTO and co-founder of Emigrate. Mr. Bade is a highly driven technology product lead and innovator for multiple tech-enabled products and startups. He has over 21 years of industry-leading expertise. He also has a strong background in software development. He has built a track record of providing excellent implementation for technology solutions in active use by millions of people. He has pioneered startups and enterprise solutions in the domestic and African market. With a background in technology, business, and technical projects, he is an emerging market leader with focus on innovation, driving strategic business growth, and scaling solutions driven by technology. Mr. Bade delivers best use of technology. He believes nothing is impossible, especially in IT. He's a thought leader in his field, sharing his ideas on global stages as well as winning multiple industry award recognitions individually with his team. He's also the CTO and co-founder of Emigrate, a tech-enabled platform for relocation and settlement, which helps individuals who are seeking opportunities to scale their careers, businesses, and impact globally via technology. So trust me, we do have the best speakers right here that will tell us or give us these strategies on how we can build a strong personal tech career brand. So I know we cannot clap our hands, but we can make use of the reaction. So please do well to use the reaction, the clapping reaction, as we put our hands together for our first speaker for this edition. Please, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so I won't be sharing slides, but Joy, if you could on share so that way they can see me. Yes, so I'm happy to be here, first of all. And a fun fact is that today is actually the first time I'm coming out at an event as the co-founder and CTO of Emigrate. So it's some sort of milestone of some sort, which is why I was smiling when that was read. Just to be clear, I'm still also co-founder and CTO of Social Lender or Social Rep in the UK. And I also manage, maintain, lead quite a number of other technology teams across the world. So just to be clear on that. But yeah, today is actually the first day I'm at an event and being introduced as the co-founder and CTO of Emigrate. I'm happy to be here. I thought I would be the second speaker at this event, but I'm happy to go first as well. But what that means is that I'm not going to be sharing some of the information that I'd assume that the first speaker will speak about around building a personal tech career brand. There's so much that you can find out there, and there's so much information available as regards what should you be doing. If you just Google the keyword, there's quite a number of information that you'll find out there, all of them very useful. And to a large extent, what I will be doing with my session, they didn't tell me how long I have. Hopefully, they'll let me know when I have 5 minutes more. What I will be doing with my session is just sharing from my experience and also sharing some of the things that we've sort of structured in a platform that we run called Bincom Dev Center, the Global Tech Program specifically. And within that platform, we've embedded ways in which individuals can build a personal tech career brand in a way where it would be globally attractive, in a way where it would be visible in the industry, and in a way where the industry would pay attention. But where I will start from is that nothing that we say today will replace the place of experience and the place of skill. So we will be focusing on exposure today, building your brand, but please understand that all of that is built on top of a foundation. And that foundation is the fact that you have very good skills, very good experience at whatever level you are. You could be a beginner just starting, you could be at the intermediate level, you could be at the advanced level. It doesn't matter which one you are, what level you are at any one of those levels. What my message is: building the skill, build the experience, and then build the exposure. And so yes, we are going to focus on the exposure aspect today, but please bear in mind that we are building on top of a foundation that it is assumed that you already have the right skill at that level. It is assumed that you already have the right experience at that level. So please bear that in mind as I go along this conversation. However, please do not think about the building exposure as extracurricular. I've heard someone say it that way before, to say, oh, what are the extracurricular activities that we should be doing in addition to the skills and the experience? If you see it that way, I strongly, strongly believe that you are doing it wrong. Because what that means is that, oh, this is just an extra that I should do as just by the way. If I don't get to it, that's fine. If I get to it, that's fine. That's already a problem. Because if you're seeing it from that perspective, to say, oh, this isn't my career, this isn't part of me building my career, this is just something I'm doing extra, then the type of effort you put on it will maybe reduce. And in some cases, because it is now very low on your priority list, sometimes it may never get done because there's a lot to do and there's a lot to do. They call it work because it will always be there. There will still be work whichever way. And so if you see it as extracurricular, there's already a problem. What we are saying is that as you are growing, think of it as a wheel: the skill, the experience, the exposure, and continue making sure that you are building all of those together as one entity, not as, oh, by the way, I will do the exposure later. So what I'm saying is you need to be intentional. You need to be intentional in the way that you see yourself, in the way that you see your personal brand. You need to be intentional in the way that your brand is perceived out there. And a very interesting definition of a brand that I saw recently is that your brand is what people say about you when you are not there. When you are not there, what do people say about you? What do people remember about you when you've left the room? What do people say about you before you get into the room? That in itself is your brand. But my focus today is our tech career brand. And I sort of thought about it from a few perspectives. Number one is your general visibility, maybe online, offline, but your visibility in your industry, your previous employments, your current employment. And then if you're a startup founder, I have a couple of messages for you as well around how you should build your company. And at the same time, you may want to build your personal brand in alignment as well. Now, the reason why I said that, so that I just dropped the message immediately, is that when I was building my career, I was always in the background and it was intentional at that point. I'm rethinking that now to say maybe that wasn't the best idea. It helped the brand, but maybe not me personally. So I've done a lot in the industry that people may not know I was behind the scene getting those things done. And to a large extent, thinking about it, I've been in the industry for over 20 years at this point, about 23 or 24 years. Thinking about it in retrospective, because now one of the things I'm doing is I'm intentionally building a brand for Bade Adesham, or a couple of team members within are helping to make that happen. Luckily, they've not told me to come and dance on TikTok or anything like that yet, but that's part of the things I'm doing right now. So just in retrospect is that if you're building a company, maybe part of what you want to do is also build yourself as you're building the company. That's pretty much the message there. Now, when we are talking about you being intentional about your tech career brand, you need to think about it holistically. Two key things that, I mean, in this modern age, in 2024, that everyone would typically have is your CV and your LinkedIn. Your CV and your LinkedIn. And to a large extent, that's where your brand starts from. But the truth is, really, that's not where it starts from. It's just that's where we think of it as starting from. A question is that when they Google your name, what would they find? Because your name is part of your brand. One of the mistakes I see people do is the fact that they have different names in different forums. And so it's so difficult to figure out who are you and what have you done. Because you are Matthew Ajayi somewhere, you are Olushola Ajayi somewhere else, and so on. And if from a career perspective, it may be suboptimal because you've done it. Most people in this room, you've probably Googled somebody's name before. Oh, I don't know this person. And then you Google their name and you see a couple of things that comes out about them. They do it a lot. Even when you go for American embassy applications, sometimes they will Google your name. They will check your social media. They will do all of those things. They even ask you to submit all of those things now. And so, although, yes, we can talk about the CV, we can talk about the LinkedIn, think holistically. Google your name. What comes out? Excuse me for a moment. What comes out when they Google your name? What area of expertise? So, excuse me for one moment. Sorry about that. Google your name. What area of expertise are they saying about you? Are you focused? Is your career looking focused? Is your career looking as if it is progressing? And so when we look at your CV, when you look at your LinkedIn and all, it's important that your area of expertise shows up. At the early stage of your career, try and not just be the jack of all trade, master of none. Yeah, both software developer, project manager, digital marketer, all of that all together at the very early stage of your career. Now, don't get me wrong. From a Bincom perspective, we believe in career buckets. So, for example, one of the learning tracks that we do in Bincom is the PMO track that brings together product management, project management, business analysis, all of that in one bucket. We have a design track that brings together graphics design, UI, UX, product design in one bucket. Right. So that's possible because you are edging your risk. But what I'm saying is that, oh, which one of those buckets are you building skills in? Because if you, at the early stage particularly, if you spread yourself too thin, then I'm not sure where I can fit you in if I'm an employer, if I want to partner with you, if I want to work with you. And yes, you can be multi-talented. Yes, that is possible. But be intentional to say, this is what I am building. As you grow in your career, you may then need to become a generalist. So for example, where I am today, I'm the CTO of multiple organizations. And so as CTO, I need to know a little bit about everything. I need to know who the subject matter expert is for one thing, and then I can put that subject matter expert into that role for that person to be able to deliver what they need to deliver for the bigger picture to be achieved. And so to a large extent, at this point, I have to now be more of a generalist, but I was a specialist at some point and then gradually moved to management. And at the manager level, management level, leadership level, you need to then know enough about your domain, your sector. But even at that level as well, the sector I'm in is technology. If you ask me questions about oil and gas, except you're asking me about technology that can help oil and gas, I may not be able to answer. I'm not a domain expert there. So be intentional about what are you building? How are you building it? Be intentional about what you are building. And then we can now start talking about how are you building it. And so talking about your previous experience, don't burn bridges. In your current role, let me start from there and then we'll go to the previous roles. In your current role, your colleagues are also growing. You never know who people know. You never know who people are going to, where people will end up. I got an interesting message this morning that was really, I mean, one of the people that worked under me basically is launching a company and then was inviting to launch to the launching of the company, and that was really exciting, and talked about how there was impact when it was under the training air. But my point there is that in whatever it is that you're doing, know that you are building some sort of brand. Your colleague are taking note of things. If you say I will do something yesterday and you didn't do it for 2 weeks, they are taking notes. Are you reliable? If you're supposed to be at an event at 2, but you show up at 2:15, they are taking notes. Sometimes consciously, but every time unconsciously. Think about it. You probably know that, oh, if you set an appointment for a certain time, you know the people that will come at a certain time and those that will come late. And yes, there may be issues one time, the second time, but by the time you do it 4 or 5 times, it's a trend. It's a culture then if it's something across the entire organization, but that's not the conversation at this point. You are building a brand in the eyes of the people that you currently work with, in the eyes of your direct reports, in the eyes of your direct managers, your leaderships, and so on. They are taking notes. You may not be taking notes consciously, and which is why I gave you that thought exercise, but you are taking notes. And then that comes to things like referencing, because from time to time, they may ask you about someone. I get random calls to say, oh, Bade, I heard this person worked in this company that you are part of. How was this person? My name wasn't added as a reference. My name wasn't added as anything. But because that person knows me as part of that company, they reach out to me. And it happens a lot, as in maybe once every quarter or something like that. Because you don't know who people know. You may know the people you know, but you don't know who other people you know. And that comes to the question of relationships as well. The hidden job market. Because most roles are actually filled by relationship. I think it's about 40%. I don't remember what the number is. But a number of times, if you're in an organization and you know that there's a role coming up in that organization and you have a friend that you know will fit into that role, you'll likely let that friend know, or maybe even recommend the friend. But how do you know what your friends are doing? It's because you have heard them talk about it. You've seen them do it. You've seen them build on it. You've seen something they posted on WhatsApp or on their social media about it. You've seen some of the projects they did. Maybe that project was scrappy a year ago, but you sort of imagine that by now they are much better in that area of expertise and so on. What about you? What about you? Because the same way you sort of have an idea what some of your friends and some of the people in your network are doing is the same way, if you are not intentional, they will not know what you are doing and what you can do. I get a lot of calls, and I get a lot of most of the work I do, I actually do by referral, right? I get a lot of calls to say, oh, because we know that you do XYZ, oh, can you do maybe ABC, which is close to XYZ? And a lot of times the answer is yes. But the reason why they think of you in the first place is the fact that you are visible to them. And so referencing your current company, your previous companies also matter. Sometimes people burn bridges, and it's very disappointing when I see it. Don't burn bridges. You never know when you need them. You never know when you need those bridges, and so don't burn them. What I mean by that is that be a good leaver. If you're leaving an organization to somewhere else, and that is part of career growth, I'm coming to that. You want to be a good leaver when you're leaving the organization. What do I mean by good leaver? If you need to give notice, give notice. If you need to hand over, hand over. If you need to build some things, build some things. If you need to make sure that you ask for an extra 1 or 2 weeks for your next resumption date so that you can close on something that you're doing, do all of those things. Be a good leaver. Because in some organization, they are not forgiven. Some organization may be more forgiven. But the point is that all of those things, the industry is really small. Because the person in the HR of that organization that you are leaving, maybe HR somewhere else in the future, you don't know. It's a very, very small industry. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, there's the whole idea of referencing as well. And then I've talked about visibility. I've touched on it already, which is that in terms of the things that you're doing, be visible. In terms of your area of expertise, be visible. In terms of what it is that you do, be visible. A couple of tips before we then talk about the how is that pay attention to your name. So I don't use my full name. I actually use Bade Adeshemowo. That's not actually my full name, my full legal name on my passport. That's what I mean, right? And so if you start using my name on my passport, you likely won't find much about me. But if you use Bade Adeshemowo, you will find a lot about me. I mentioned it earlier already. Pay attention to your role, your designation. I'm not saying lie or anything like that, but pay attention to what you call yourself. What's in your LinkedIn banner? What are the roles? So with CV formats, for example, aside from your role, you have to call out some of the key things. What's your career summary? What are the kinds of things that you're talking about what you do? Pay attention to those things. Be intentional about it. Be consistent and show growth. And so don't be a project assistant and you've been a project assistant for 6 years. That's not growth. Don't be a junior developer and you've been a junior developer for 10 years. That's not growth. Show that, yes, I started from A. Now, within the last 6 months, I've grown to B. Within the last 2 years, I've grown to C. And then that growth itself is interesting because the past performance is the best predictor of future results. Past performance is the best predictor of future results. It's a prediction. It may not be correct. You may have been growing fast and then all of a sudden it falls through the crack and all, but it is the best predictor. And so even in the organizations that may want to work with you as an employee, as a partner, whatever it is, they are looking out for, oh, what does this look like from a growth perspective as well? So be intentional, be consistent, and ensure that you show growth. And so I would finish up by just talking about the how. Something I missed out on the why is around, I was going to talk about what I do. So what I do right now, one of the things I do actually, but the main thing I'm focused on at the moment is a platform called Emigrate. And what we do at Emigrate is we help individuals become globally attractive talents. That's what we do. And our first area of focus is around tech talent visas from all over the world. The UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 visa, the Australia Global Talent Visa, Canada Startup Visa, and several visas from all over the world. All of those visas have a common denominator, which is be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options for you of what it is that you want to do with yourself, with your career, with your family, and so on. Now, the reason why I brought that up here is because part of what tells you are a talent is what you built in the past and how you have built it. That brand that we are talking about. In fact, that is what they are looking at. The interesting thing is that the world is then converging to say, oh, this is a good way of predicting future performance. And so with the Australia Global Talent Visa, previously, they were more focused on if you're earning high salary, and if you have a higher degree. So for example, you have a PhD. That's what they were focused on. They've realized over the last year or so, they are now changing and looking at using the model of the UK Global Talent Model, which looks at people holistically. What kinds of results? What was the impact of your work in your organization? But then what are the things that you have done to build the ecosystem outside your organization? And so if you were not even thinking about being intentional, understand that there are opportunities that may pass you by because you weren't intentionally building your brand. In addition, with the world of AI and the emergence of AI being democratized, so don't get this wrong. AI has always been there. For the last 10 years or so, I've been running a company that has been using AI, machine learning aspects of it really to score people, alternative credit scoring. So we've been around for years. What has changed is that Gen AI specifically and AI generally has now been democratized. It's on your phone, it's on your social media, Meta AI, it's on your phone as Apple Intelligence or Gemini's own if you're using Android. It's everywhere. And it's also available in your organization and the organizations where you work or where you would work. There's this old debate that will AI cancel all jobs? We are not at that point yet. We are not at the point of artificial general intelligence. Google it, write it down in case you are not familiar. We are not at that point yet. However, somebody using AI will take your job. So you had better make sure that you are that person using AI. So it's a better version of yourself that is taking your job. Get that right. Why I brought it up is because there is going to be a disappearance of many junior roles. Senior roles are still safe at this point. Senior roles will take liability. Senior roles will be in charge, will still make the final decision. But if you say that, oh, I want to stay as a junior developer, just know that you're about to run out of jobs. If you say you want to stay as just a junior analyst, know that you're probably going to run out of work. You need to quickly grow. And so there's a big opportunity for Bincom Dev Center there because what we do is we help people grow from zero to become intermediate to senior. Big opportunity. And it's part of what we are building over the next few years. But what I'm saying about you as an individual, which is our focus during this conversation, is that what are you doing about your own brand? One more example I will give, and then that will take me into the how. One more example I will give is somebody that went to an event, was part of Bincom Dev Center at a point. I won't mention the name since this is being recorded. And I've seen this happen many times, but I'm giving a specific example because this is close to home and close to Bincom Dev Center as well. And what she did was one of the microservices that happens in Bincom Dev Center is called external events. Bincom forces you to go and attend one external event every month. It's compulsory, basically, or used to be compulsory. I don't know how if it's still compulsory now. And so forced to go attend an event, met somebody at that event, didn't know that person was the CEO of some company that works with different banks and all. And then they got talking. I was just talking about some of the projects that she's been able to do so far. I just joined Bincom for like 6 months or so. Just talked about some of those projects, and the person got a job instantly. Right. And so I had to buy out the training agreement on the Bincom side. But my point I'm making is that you don't know who you are standing next to. You don't know who you are meeting at those things. You don't know who is showing up. Two things there is that you should be able to talk about what you're doing. But second thing is that sometimes all you have to do is just show up. Just show up sometimes. It's not in many cases anymore, but sometimes because 50% of your industry do not show up. So the fact that you just show up for that thing already puts you ahead. But there's much more that you should do so that you are more of the 10 percentile rather than the 50 percentile. And so that brings us to the question of how. I will just use example of some of the things that we ask people to do within the Global Tech Program and within Bincom Dev Center. Number one of it is around events, community events. And one of the things that Bincom asks of each individual within the organization is to host and facilitate community events, starting from meetups, but also larger events as well. And part of the reason for that is to say that with you doing that, a couple of things would happen. If you're hosting and you're forced to go find speakers, you will need to build relationships. You will need to introduce yourself to other people ahead of you in your industry, maybe LinkedIn, maybe in other industry forum, maybe in the ecosystem and so on. You will need to do that. You would also then need to be able to introduce yourself to say, oh, this is what I'm learning right now. This is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm building right now. And I'm trying to run this small meetup. Would you come? A connection has been formed. It may not be needed, but imagine many of those connections are formed. All of a sudden, your ecosystem starts knowing you. We ask people to do something called social influence. And pretty much what social influence is that go find people that are asking questions on social media that you can answer. So please don't tell me you're an introvert or anything like that. Find people that are asking questions in your knowledge track. So if you're in Python and you're building experience in Python, there are people that would have questions in different social media platforms. So when I say social media platforms, I'm talking Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Could you drop some more on the chat? Because it's very hard to keep up. LinkedIn, please drop some more in the chat. And we ask that find people that are discussing issues around your knowledge track, around the area of expertise that you're already building or the area of expertise you want to get to. Because sometimes those questions may be things that you didn't know you didn't know. And so you are then paying attention to find out that, oh, they're asking about X, Y, Z. I didn't even know that existed. What is that? You Google it, you find out, and you can list it as part of the things that you can still list it as part of the things that, oh, I need to know in the future. But maybe half of the time, you may know the answer, or at least you can point them in the right direction. It's one of our core values in Bincom. If we can answer the question, we'll show you who can. And so social influence. There's social engagement as well that's supposed to help you. And there's knowledge exchange. With social influence, you are focused on just general social media. So Facebook, Twitter, all of those places where it is general. So they are not only asking questions about your knowledge track, they may be doing entertainment today, maybe comedy tomorrow, all sorts of things, depending on what the algorithm feeds to you. But be intentional to say, oh, once a week, I want to answer something around my knowledge track. I want to interact around this. I want to farms with the Apples and the Googles and so on of this world. Be intentional is the key point there. Because interestingly, even the algorithm will start learning to say, this is your interest. And it will start feeding things that is of your interest. But there is knowledge exchange, which is then more around your knowledge track. So we use platforms like Stack Overflow, Stack Exchange. You can please drop some more in the chat of places where experts in your industry converge. It could be social media groups, it could be WhatsApp groups, it could be all sorts, but you're looking for where people that are also building in your knowledge track, where they converge and they are asking questions. They are discussing issues. and be intentional in contributing to those issues. Stack Overflow, for example, will score you. So if somebody says that, oh, you had the best answer in this, they would mark you to say this is the best answer. And if you get many of those, you start being more visible in your industry. Don't forget all of these things, because they're on the internet, they start counting for something. Then we talk about you attending events. I've sort of mentioned it as well, to say show up at events. But showing up at events is just stage one. Over time, what you want to do is start putting your head in to say, oh, you guys invite me, I can speak on this. Sometimes they call for speakers. Put yourself forward to say, oh, yes, I can speak up. Don't be afraid that, oh, I'm only 1 year experience in this field. Because you already know something that people at 0 years experience don't know. So don't be afraid. I'm rounding up now. We talk about attending events. So we talk about physical events, and the pandemic has been over for a while now. Don't restrict yourself to just online events. They are not as effective as one-on-one events. Be intentional. When the pandemic came, people didn't mind as much to say, oh, online events and all. So do a balance of them. But the interesting thing about online events is that don't forget that wherever you are in the world, even if you're in India, you can attend an event being hosted in New York because you're connecting online. Nothing is stopping you. So there's no barrier there. Expose yourself. Oh, what are they even discussing? Oh, I'm a WordPress professional in Ghana. What are the people in WordPress London saying? Maybe there's something there that you can bring to Ghana. Maybe there's something there that you can use to improve yourself. Maybe there's something there that you could learn, or maybe there's something there that you could use to grow your own self. Be intentional is all I'm saying there. All of these things will start creating what we call public artifacts. That's what we call it within Bincom world, public artifacts. Because all of a sudden, if you do external events and you talk about it, when you do external event, don't just stay there. One of the strategies I would give you for external events is that when you go for those events, find one person. You don't know who is who, you don't know who they know, and connect deeply with that one person. Maybe two, if you have that kind of time. Go and talk to many people. Do you get, introduce yourself, connect on LinkedIn, all of those kind of things, many people, but then find at least one person that will never forget you. You don't know who knows what. So don't go and look for the person with the most expensive suit or the person, it doesn't matter who, because if you do it consistently over a period of time, you are building a network around yourself and you don't know who knows who. Connect on WhatsApp, connect on LinkedIn, connect on all of these kind of things. And don't say you're an introvert. Even if you're an introvert, there are ways you can do it as well. If you're in that room and you're not the outgoing person going to every single person, you can sit in your one corner and meet one person. Just be intentional is all I'm saying on there. I'm rounding up now. That public artifact will generate things that are newsworthy for you. And so I talked about some of those visas where they're interested in, have you appeared in the newspaper? Have you been invited to share your skill on something and so on? It is based on all of these other things that you are doing. All of those things, make them visible. Don't just do them and not talk about them. And when I say talk, most of this is now social media and all, but don't just do them and not talk about them. Let it be visible on your profile. Oh, I was at this event. I took a picture with this major person I've been meaning to meet. Post it. Talk about it. Be strategic though, right? So don't become such a loud mouth that people then know you on the opposite, because you can do it too much. There's a way to do all of these things. I'm talking too much. But it's that visibility that will give you things like awards. Right. Very early on in my career, I won the Future Awards for best use of technology. It was very early in my career, 2010. And I mean, it was a milestone in my career at that time. And the truth is that I was building a company, but then I was building myself as well. I wasn't as visible, but there were people that knew me that nominated me. So I was nominated. I didn't know that. I mean, what's the name? But my point there, and the reason why I mentioned it, is the fact that all of those things will come, but they will come because there's something newsworthy about you. There's something noteworthy about you. Don't forget you are competing. If you're a software developer, there are hundreds of other software developers in your own niche, in your own industry, in your own location, maybe in your own company. You need to be able to stand out. The good news is that the sky is so big that there are so many places to stand out. So look for what are you passionate about. I've talked about many things over the last 30 minutes or so. You may not be passionate about every single one of them, but the key point is I've given you examples of what you can do. I've told you about how within the structured Bincom Dev Center program, you're actually forced to do some of those things. But that structure ends after 6 months to a year. At that point, you should then know, oh, this is the one I'm actually going to be doing. Oh, am I going to be writing blog posts? Am I going to become a social media influencer? Oh, am I just going to be a professional and then become, have fantastic rating on GitHub, for example? Am I going to be known as the best software? There was someone that was announced globally now. It was a software developer in Nigeria, but then globally it was recognized because it was contributing a lot on GitHub and things like that. I think his name is Prosper, but I may be wrong. But my point is that there are several different niches that you can figure out. But as you are building your career, as I said earlier, you need to learn the skills, you need to gain the experience, but then gain exposure as well. Hope this was helpful. Looking forward to answering questions later. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. That was a very good one. It felt like you were really piercing through our hearts. Well, thank you so much for that one. That was a very good one. Okay, so please do well to drop as many questions as possible in the chat. At the end of the second speaker, would create time to take as many questions as possible. So if you have any question right now, please hold on to it. When it's time for the Q&A, we're going to answer those questions. Okay, so please, we love your feedback. I'll be dropping a link to a digital feedback form. Please do well to fill this form and give us your feedback on our event. And then also, just to chip this in before I call in our second speaker, Bincom Dev Center is organizing the Gen AI Hackathon. So please do not miss out on it. It's Hacking Gen AI, building the next big thing with generative AI in 24 hours or less. It is coming up on the 6th and 7th of December 2024 by 6 p.m. I'll also be dropping the link to the hackathon in the chat. So please do well to register for this hackathon. You really don't want to miss this. It's just a week away from now. So please do well to register for the hackathon. All right, so I'm going to be introducing our second speaker for this ICT Career Talk. And our second speaker is Mr. Mike Ikewa, who is the founder and CEO of Univad. Mr. Mike is passionate about growth and development of fellow young people in Africa, and over the years, through his time with various media organizations like Vice News, Telegraph Newspaper, Reformer Times, Abini Multimedia, etc., to acquire large knowledge and experience in using digital media to bring solutions to major brand problems. He's an expert in digital media, which he credits to his experiences working with some of the best in the branding and digital communication industry.
We can't hear you anymore, Joy, if you're there. Am I still online?
Yes, sir, you are. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Please, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, welcome back. You went off for a while, but you're back now.
Okay, so sorry about that. I had a little network glitch. Okay, so let me reintroduce our second speaker again. All right, so please let's make welcome our second speaker, Mr. Mike Ikenwa, who is the founder and CEO of Univad. Mr. Mike is passionate about growth and development of fellow young people in Africa. Over the years, through his time with various media organizations like Vice News, Telegraph newspaper, Reformer Times, Abini Multimedia, etc., to acquire large knowledge and experience using digital media to bring solutions to major brand problems. He is an expert in digital media, which he credits to his experience working with some of the best in the branding and digital communication industry, as well as major publishing companies. He uses digital trends to help brands build a standout product and good brand identity while using quality product activations to bring digital solutions. He is the founder of Univad, a next generation online learning institution born from a vision to create an impactful learning system that empowers education and foster growth for Africans everywhere. To achieve the goal of making quality and global in-demand skills accessible to Africans, he built an exceptional educational platform and learning system that stimulates learning, eliminates barriers, and drives superior performance and expansion. So please, let's make use of the reaction as we welcome our second speaker, Mr. Mike, to the floor. Please, sir, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hear me?
Yes, we can.
But we can't see you yet, though. Oh, yeah, there you are. We see you now.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon again. And thank you, Joy. And also the previous speaker, I listened to your section and it was quite enlightening. I appreciate you for that. So thank you for the platform and also for putting this together. It's been a very educative section so far. And I don't know about anyone else and everyone else. I think I learned a lot also. And no matter your level of growth and your exposure and your education, there's no limit to what you can learn at any time and at any opportunity you get. And I took my time to listen to the entire section. And if you decide to end the section here, you can be assured that you have already learned something, right? Is a personal observation. So I'm hoping that it is the same for everyone else. So we are talking about personal branding, talking about tech, talking about our careers, and also building our personal brands. Now, at some point, the speaker mentioned about the previous speaker mentioned about his early stage as building his personal brand and also his career. And I quite share also the same experience when I was starting off. I didn't see things like personal branding and all of that as something that I should take serious. And as much as I have so far built a personal brand with my career and also with my experience so far, I still can't say that I've quite given it a lot. And in most cases, we see founders and we see industry experts and leaders have this kind of fear of speaking about the areas they couldn't do well. It's something that is very rare, and it's something that you can't blame those that doesn't want to speak about it, because it's a topic that most people feel that when you speak about it, it degrades you or it makes you feel that you are not who you should be. But that's not the same for me. I talk about my failures. I talk about the areas I don't do well, and I talk about the areas that I also do well. And personal branding is something that I've not, over the time, giving all my best in building. And it's from that perspective that I want to share my experience in this section, so that you will learn one or two things from it and also apply it to your quest of building your personal brand going into tech. Now, I've seen it cost me a lot in many ways. I've seen it also cost me things that I should have enjoyed. For instance, when I went into my first career, because I didn't start off going into tech. I didn't even study anything related to tech. I actually studied the investigative journalism. And then along the line, I transitioned. Now, during my time as a journalist, okay, I had friends, a couple of friends that I was very close to, and then we are very vocal and somehow brutal with our approach. I'm not the kind that I have them as friends, but they are the kind of people that they are ready to hit you where it pains you the most, as long as they have to do the right thing and they have to do it how they want it. Why me? I'm the kind of person that I want to also pamper the situation to not hurt somebody in the process. But my own is that I will do it in a way that I will still pass the message I want to. Now, while they were doing that, they were anonymous on social media. They were anonymous. For their privacy, I wouldn't want to mention them, but they are some of the biggest, though some of them are no longer anonymous now, but they are some of the biggest social media influencers at the moment. Now, then they were anonymous, but I was the only one. I was also anonymous. At some point, I changed my name to my real name. All of us, we initially didn't use our real names, but then along the line, I was the first person that moved and changed that and started using my real name, because I was writing content. At some point, I stopped writing original content and started writing responses. And in my writing then, I responded to some of the biggest influencers then, and people that say the trends then. Some of them threatened me, some of them we met during events where I happened to be a speaker then too. And some of them we almost fought. And those my friends will always tell me, do you see why we say you should remain anonymous? You should. But then something I want you to understand, I didn't change my name to my real name because I want to build a personal brand. Or so I thought. There was nothing in my head that say, okay, build a personal brand, build a name for yourself or stuff like that. I just want people to know that I'm not a coward. I just want those. I don't want to mention the names of those, but most of them are politicians then. Most of them are influencers, political influencers, and the people that send the tone and the news then. I want them to know anyway we meet, if we have to fight, they know that see who they are fighting. I want them to know to put a face to that name. So I didn't know that that's what personal branding is all about. But then those my friends, they focused on different aspects of it. They started always tweeting, while I will come once in a while and drop a tweet and disappear. Maybe I publish a new article or a new response, I will disappear and only react to people, engage them, and move. I have no business. I don't have any interest in growing my social currency then, but they focused on that. And now they have, one of them have up to 1 point something million followers on Twitter alone. So the least person among us, aside me, has almost 200,000 followers. I'm still having 5,000 followers on Twitter for contest, to show you how far they have grown building their personal brand compared to me. But here is the catch, okay? I focused on the work not paying attention to how this can also help to build my personal brand. I wasn't speaking about myself. I wasn't speaking about. I wasn't interested in growing my followers. Even on Facebook, if you check me out on Facebook, you'll notice that once in a while I just come and post once, and it may be the next market day that you see me come back again and post. And I barely react to people's contents, except those that I feel that this is rich enough for me to engage with. I engage with that person, or maybe the person is super close to me. I engage them to contribute to what they are saying or to support them. But aside that, I don't see, like, those things they used to say, engage people so that they engage me. I don't even see engagement as anything big. And since then, I've seen how much that has cost me. Now, I will tell you, I've told you what I didn't do and what I did. Now, what I did not do is pay attention to my personal brand. I was building something that was very good, and I met people. I built my network. I met a lot of people that are currently making things happen then, and I networked very well. But in terms of building my social circle to personally brand myself, I didn't pay attention to that because I never valued it then. Not that I never valued it. I don't see it as, yes, I never valued it because I don't see it as something that then could help me. I focus more on the work. I'm more of a back-end person, do my work and let my work speak for me. I want, anytime you talk about me, you associate me with something good that I'm building or that I've built. But as for acquiring large number of followers to build my brand and all of that, I wasn't interested in it. Why my friends were focusing on that. Now they are enjoying the benefits of that. While I wouldn't say that I regret not doing it then, but I feel that I should have done better because now, had it been I focused on building my followers, my personal brand then, just like they did, now I would have, it would have been much easier for me to launch my products, my services, and my companies. Now, this is the area I need you to understand why you are building your personal brand going into tech. Okay, those little things that you need are the things that, in terms of your personal branding, are the things that could help you in the future. For instance, I was not interested in engagements. Up to now, I don't think I'm still interested in engagements or social media engagements. I still can't know why or find the reason why I'm not interested in it. I'm hoping maybe one day, maybe when we eventually get to heaven, and I will find the answer there. But on this earth, so far, I've not been able to see why I'm not interested in engagements. Even at some point, my friends were pushing me to buy followers and all of that, because those things translate to how people perceive you. It contributes to your personal branding. But then I still can't find the reason. At some point, they said, okay, I should be sending them my tweets, my content, let them be helping me to push it, and let them tell their followers I should invest in my. I did it, I would do it like 2-3 days. The next day, I spent the entire day working, that I forgot that I have a tweet to send to them to help me tweet. And then when I go, I will see their messages, dropping messages that I've not. I still can't find. So now, when this thing affected me much was when I launched my first company. Now, going into tech now is about community. Now, you might be building something extraordinary, but if you don't have the community, a strong community to help you to push it, at least from that early stage, you will struggle. Now, I don't have that number. I don't have that personal social currency to help me to push that. I don't have that personal community of followers. I have real followers, real supportive and strong followers that are always ready to push my brands. They have those numbers. But me as an individual, I wouldn't say these people, I wouldn't say I have hundreds of thousands of people following me. I have few friends who would die for me, and I'm super proud of that. But in terms of the large number, for me to push my distance, I have to rely on my friends now. You see? But had it been I have the community, it would be easier. For instance, tomorrow, those my friends may decide to move away. Some of them, like I said, they are the biggest social media influencers as we speak, and quality influencers are also. They are always there for me every minute, which I'm grateful for. Their followers cumulatively will grow in millions. But me personally, I don't have that number. Now, for instance, tomorrow one of them may decide to walk away and say, Mike, I don't believe in this your project, and I'm not ready to be part of pushing it. He's walking away. He doesn't have any interest in that, and there's nothing I can do to change that. But if I have my own number of followers, I would just like the influencers are doing to social media users now, they push whatever they want, whatever they feel, and nobody will say because of this they will just keep on pushing it to your face anytime. Now, if I have that number, I could do the same for my companies, for my projects, without the fear of anybody walking away say, I will not help you to push it to my followers anymore. But I have them, whereas I don't have the number. Now, that is the consequences of neglecting building my personal brand from the early stage. Now, thanks to this, to sessions like this, you understand the importance of these little things and how those things can help you to also succeed in your careers. Another thing is this: tech now is always evolving. What you are currently doing now, what you are currently seeing may change in the next minute. And now this is where I talk a bit about what I do. Okay, the reason I didn't start off by talking about what I do at Univad or RCI and all of that is because Joy has helped me to do that. Okay, so but I'm going to reference what we do to share an idea with you. Now, the previous speaker talked about the growth of AI now, and I a little bit disagree when he said that AI so far is not taking over jobs. Maybe I didn't get it correctly, but then I will tell you something. Now, we launched Univad. We launched Univad 6 months ago, barely 6 months ago, and we started admission 2 months later. Now, that's like 3 months ago, 4 months ago that we started admission. Now, currently we have over 2,000 active students, and in our community we have over 1,800 active students on our community, and then we have generally over 5,000 members in that community, in our online community on Univad. Okay, now we have been building and focusing on making sure that our programs are top-notch and quality, and in partnership with over 27 global universities, including Michigan State University, University of California, University of London, and a lot more, and also powered and have programs from IBM, Google, and Meta. Now, all our programs are taught by professors, lecturers, and also experts in those fields from those companies and universities. Now, when we started, every single day, we have thousands of messages, either from students or from prospects, either talking about the admission, either talking about they want to make inquiries, or they want to see how they can be able to, which career should they switch to, which career should they start, what should they go into. They want to launch a career in tech, but they don't know where to start. They have no idea where to begin and all of that. There's always something. We have 18 people in our student support team and our admissions team attending to these people. And daily, they cannot meet up to 60% of these people and 60% of their messages, because it's not like something that you talk to somebody and stop and then continue. You have to make sure that each student is satisfied, or each person is satisfied before you move on to the next person. It becomes a whole lot now. And career counseling is what we took serious. Now, what we did, as time goes on, we decided to partner with Leeds University. Now, with Leeds University, we launched a program we call TechPad. Now, that TechPad, guys, instead of us taking much time to guide students in their career or prospects, now with that, we launched that program, which is 100% free. It will teach you everything you need to know about launching a career in tech, the basis of technologies, helping you to choose a career by introducing you to different areas of tech, and also Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all of that. And we, in partnership with Leeds University, we made this thing 100% free. Now, it reduced the number of people that comes to us for counseling. Not that it's stopped it, but it reduced it, all right? Now, 3 months later, after the launch of Univad, we are still getting tons of messages. Now, we decided to build an in-house AI we call Oryx AI. Now, mind you, before I said we have 18 people working on our student support team and admission team, but they're not always meeting up to 60% of this. And most times, if they keep on sending us messages, if we go to our WhatsApp support line, it's always busy. Our two WhatsApp support line. If you go to our website chat feature, it's always busy with so many messages. If you go to our social media inbox, it's always filled with messages from people. And some of them, what they do is when you do not attend to them in those channels, they go on the public and ask you why you're not responding to them. And people don't care whether you are busy or not. They don't care about that. Now, when we launched that Oris AI, here is what happened. Okay. Now, we launched that last month. It reduced the number of messages that we have to attend to by 87%. Most of the things that people come to us to talk about or come to us to ask us, they no longer come to us because our in-house AI now serves all of that. But then another thing it did, out of that 18 people in our admissions and our student support team, out of 18, 10 had to let go. We had to let 10 of them go, remaining 8. And that 8 is because they are multi-talented. But they were employed for a purpose, but they can also multitask. And also they have vast knowledge of AI. And what we did, we recruited them into our AI training department. And also some of them still remained in our admission team. Now, at the end of this month, we may also let go some of them. Because what we are doing, what AI is currently doing is to help you to, help us to make work more efficient and more reliable and faster, and also helping companies to reduce costs. Now, our AI not only attending to students, but also helping us internally to cut costs and also to help us to make work more efficient, and also help us to make sure that our responses are consistent across channels. Students get, if you go to our platform and use the AI, it's very fast and it's designed to only answer questions about our programs, help you to write your assignments, help you to do your research, help you to draft your CV and all of that, and also help you to everything about our virtual campus. Now you see, 10 people have lost their job since we launched Oris AI at Univad. 10 people have lost their job because those 10 people are no longer needed, because our Oris AI is now doing what they are doing and doing it even in a better way. So if you are telling those people, those 10 people now, that AI will not take their job, well, good luck explaining that to them. You have to do a whole lot of explanation to let them know how it wasn't Oris AI that took their job, because it was very transparent. The whole process was very transparent, and they saw it coming when we were building it. Okay. Now, some of them we are retraining to also. Yeah, I saw the question. I was just about to talk about that. We are retraining them to include them in other roles, and also to assign other responsibilities to them, and we make the place open, and also we prioritize them in terms of our applications, and also to help them, because of course currently AI cannot take all the jobs, but as time goes on, like now, it's taking over sales, most aspects of sales. Oris AI can now do it. Marketing, the same thing, because it can draft a whole lot of your marketing strategies and even iterate every single one of them, depending on how you want it to be. Now, content writers, your jobs are in trouble. Even script writers, your jobs are in trouble. Research and analysts, your jobs are in trouble. Data analysts, your jobs are at stake. You have to now not learn faster, but also learn how to beat AI. But then you cannot learn how to beat AI since it's still using your knowledge to train itself. Here is what I will tell you to do. Instead of looking for how to switch careers to make sure that AI doesn't take a job, because AI is still coming for that your job, what you would do is to learn how to use that AI. And this is also a place I agree very well with the previous speaker. Learn how to use AI. Now, prompt engineers are going to be highly needed. It's no longer if you are good in doing something, but how good can you use this? Can you use this application? Can you use this feature? Can you use this platform to make this thing more better? can you manipulate the AI to do your work to be faster, to be better, to be cost efficient, and also to make it more reliable and consistent? If you can do that, then it means that you can multitask, and it means that you will be retained. But if you are hell-bent on you are a copywriter, no, AI, in short, AI has taken most of the jobs of the copywriters. As long as you are knowledgeable enough on how to put your prompt, on how to write a good prompt that the AI will understand clearly, and how to also keep following it up, you may necessarily not have a job as a scriptwriter or as a content writer in the future. Now, what also some people are failing to understand now is that AI is not limited to generative AI. It's not limited to using it to generate pictures or to write contents and all of that. There are a whole lot, which time will not permit me to go into. But then, in terms of how you use it and how it relates to your personal brand, you should pay attention to what is currently trending, and also make more research about the future of this AI and how it's going to change the way we work, and also continue to learn and to adapt to it and learn how to use it better. And also it can help you, for instance, if you are struggling to be consistent, and I'm sorry, I'm saying most of the things I'm going to say, I'm saying it from what I have failed to do. I'm not telling you what I did and it worked, but I'm telling you what I failed to do, because from failures, there are a whole lot of lessons to learn. Now, for instance, there was a time I tried to be consistent on Twitter. For instance, I used the same AI to draft a 1-month content calendar for myself that I can be posting. And I went through the whole content and did a follow-up and did a whole lot of editing, and it was perfect for me to post, even if I want to be posting 3 times daily. And except I tell you that this is AI generated, you will not know that this is AI generated. But like I told you, I have an issue which probably I need a deliverance that will make me to remain consistent in terms of my personal branding and online presence. Still, that content that I worked on, I took time, almost 1 week to work on. I only posted for 7 days. And that 7 day, out of that 7 days, I was supposed to be posting 3 times a day, but I only posted, some of the days I only posted once, some of the days I only posted twice. For 7 days, I did not post again, anything from that content again. I wasn't able to remain consistent because I'm more of focusing on the work that I have to do internally than how I relate to people outside and how I build my personal brand. Then I have seen how the thing has cost me, and I hope that people learn from it, also learn from that, and make sure that it doesn't cost them the same way. Because now community, your tech career is dependent on the number of communities that you belong and the number of communities you can control. While I may not have that number personally following me, which if I still want to build, I have the resources, I have the right people to help me to do that. But why I can't do that is still what I cannot explain. Even though I know that this thing is costing me, this thing is something that I need, I still don't know why I cannot focus on doing this. Rather, I focus on building every other thing that I'm doing. Now, I rely on my friends, I rely on my resources, I rely on my staff, I rely on our ambassadors, our influencers, and then my network to do that, since they are readily available for me to use. But building that personally for myself, saying that this is my own followers, this is my own community, is something that I have not found time to do. So now, if you have your own personal community, it will support your personal career, because it will help you in so many ways in terms of launching your career, having access to people, resources, having access to community to launch your products and your services and to push your brands. It will help you a lot, because now it's no longer about your career alone. Your community, your personal branding depends on it. Now, finally, another thing that I want to add is this. Personal branding comes in different ways. While I may not have that number of followers that may do the work for me, or may always following me, whatever I say they do and all of that, that number of people, I'm very proud to know that I have the people that have these numbers that are readily available for me to use. And in most places, I no longer introduce myself to say this is who I am and this is what I do and all of that, because once I get into the place and speak of my name, you already know what I do, or even a little Google search will tell you a lot about me. Now, those things are also part of personal branding. You may not have that large number, but who do you know and who knows you is also very, very important. If you don't have that number of people, do you have people that also have that number of people? If you don't have people that have that number of people, can you walk into a place and introduce yourself and let your work be great? Now, you may have that large number of people, just like I've seen on social media, but you don't have anything tangible that you're using them for. You don't have anything tangible that you are building with it. You don't have anything good or quality that you say that once you mention that thing already speaks for you and all of that. And also, can you be able to say that this is what you are doing and this is what you are changing and this is what you are building? So while you are building your personal brand, make sure that the quality aspect of it, the root core of it, which is what you are building, what you are offering, and your value is also meeting, at least making up for the areas that you are not good in terms of personal branding, or in terms of the area that you are you're already trying to establish, which is the personal branding aspect. So while I'm concluding, I also advise you to always make research on your own, stay within trends to know what is currently trending and use it in terms of your personal branding. For instance, if AI is currently trending now, most people are jumping on Web3 alone, making money out of it and how they will make money out of it, but they are not trying to build a career out of it, build a future out of it. So they are rushing into how they can make instant money out of it. But you can train yourself in the way that tomorrow you can benefit from those things without missing out. Okay, I've taken much longer time than I planned on taking. So I hope that I've been able to confuse you that there are benefits and consequences when you pay attention or not on your personal brand. I hope I was able to confuse you, not convince you, to confuse you on that. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Can anyone hear me? Hi, can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
That's fine.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me now? I was echoing earlier. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mike. That was a very good one. And I really like the fact that you also talked about the downside of it. As much as we're putting aside to all everyone is talking about the success story and there's also the other part where it wasn't always rosy as it appears to look. I'm really, really excited that you were able to share your experience. So before we go into the question and answer session, I mentioned that this event is brought to you by Bincom Dev Center. So I'm just going to go ahead and brief you on some of the services we offer at Bincom Dev Center. And I would like that if you're interested in any of these services, please do well to register on the links that would be dropped in the chat. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location technology, talent development, and solutions platform. We focus on building tech talent, enhancing tech talent, and also building startups. For building tech talent, we have services like Bincom Academy, Bincom Tech Internship, Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, Bincom Global Tech Program. We also have enhancing tech talent. We have Bincom Tech Network. We have Lightspace, we have Emigrate Tech Visa, we have Bincom Mentoring Platform, we also have the Bincom Tech Career Coaching. And for building startups, we have Labs by Bincom. So Bincom Academy utilizes the Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills that is needed for the modern technology ecosystem. Our tech internship enables people at intermediate skill levels gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. Our apprentice program is an industrial attachment at various skill levels for you to gain experience and on-the-job training. Our Bincom Tech Network, which includes community events and projects, is geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. We focus on informing and exposing the youth to the current technology trends and how to prepare for the future in technology. One of such events is the ICT Career Talk, which you're all present today. We also have our light space that provides helpful workspaces with intentions to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminars, conferences, and get-together. We have our Bincom Global Tech Program, which is your solution to launch your tech career globally. This program is typically 1 to 2 years, and it is focused on 3 key pillars, which is learn skill, gain experience, gain exposure. We have our Emigrate Tech Visa, which helps you become globally attractive, build a tech profile, and also a tech-enabled business. It is also your tech-enabled pathway to relocations and settlements in countries like the UK, USA, Canada, France, and many other countries. Our mentoring platform is a structured solution to help mentors add values to mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive techies. And our Labs by Bincom is a 3 to 6 month pre-incubator program that brings together participants to build a digital technology product which would be used by real life users. And our tech career coaching helps individuals to land their next role faster by offering a combination of coaching relevant on the job experience, career referencing, and introduction to tech recruiters, hand-holding through application and interview process, and many more. So if you're interested in any of these services, please do well to register for any of these services.
What are the things you need for this program? All you need is your laptop.
I'm going to play this video briefly for us to learn more about the Bincom Global Tech Program.
What are the things you need for this program? What are the things you need for this program? All you need is your laptop. You need. The total gets better. We have very simply means is that the company will sponsor your learning. So you would learn for the period of 1 to 2 years, and you only start. What are the things you need for this program? All you need is your laptop device, a hunger and a passion for.
Okay, so I think after the QA session, I'm going to play the video that you need to watch if you're interested in the Bincom Global Tech Program or you want to know more about the Bincom Global Tech Program. Please do well to stay with us till the end of this session, and we'll be going on to the question and answer session very shortly. So in a nutshell, the Bincom Global Tech Program, like I mentioned earlier, is your solution to launch your tech career globally. This program is a 3 months to 2 years program, and it is focused on 3 key pillars, which is learn skill, gain experience, gain exposure. So the Bincom Global Tech Program helps individuals and also has customized learning paths, mentors and facilitators at every skill level. And for you to gain relevant tech experience, we have real life projects that you can work on to help you grow. We have internships and apprenticeships for you to build your resume with clients at every skill level. And then for you to gain exposure, we also have our international career packaging and placement, guided access to international tech ecosystem, and also an opportunity for you to work with global startups and corporations. We have different knowledge tracks from data science to DevOps to UI UX graphics. We have quality assurance, we have project management, product management, service management, we have PHP, digital marketing, C#, etc. So please do well to register for the Global Tech program if you want to be a part of this program. All right, I'm sure we have as many questions as possible. I mentioned that we should keep a notepad on our side so we don't miss any question. If you had any question and you had written it down and you like to ask those questions, please, the time is now. So this is how we're going to do it. You can raise your hand and I'll call you to ask your question. And when asking your question, please let us know who you're directing your questions to. Could be the first speaker or the second speaker. So please, if you have any question, kindly raise your hand and then ask your question. Or you can drop them in the chat and then I will take them and ask the speakers. But please do well to add who you're directing the question to, if it's both speakers or a particular speaker. So please, does anyone have any question? Is there any question from anyone?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Oh, hi, Harriet. Please, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, the question goes to Mr. Badi. So just that I'm just starting my tech career, just building my tech career actually. So there is these feelings I used to have, like a doubting feelings, like being not being competent of what I'm doing or what I'm about to do. So there is this feeling I used to have about, even if I'm on a project or something like that, or I want to face someone about a project. So there's this feeling I used to have, like a doubting feelings. So I'm trying to work on the challenges actually, but I'm still working on it and I've not gotten the right way to get it solved. So I'm thinking if I could get a solution to solve these challenges.
Yeah, definitely. And my first solution to you is to help you understand that you are not alone, right? What you have just described is known in the industry, not just the tech industry, is known globally as imposter syndrome. So if you Google that keyword, you will find many people, many adults with the same challenge. And there's a scientific way around the imposter syndrome. But I believe the very first step is, if you do understand that, oh, I'm not the only one feeling this way, to feel, then you start seeing it to say it's not unique to you. What are some of the things that you can do? One of them is just do it anyway. Even though you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not competent enough, just go ahead. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is, oh, you try and you fail, but you will have learned something by doing so. So that's the first thing I would just say. But in terms of imposter syndrome, it's scientifically proven. And if you check online using that keyword, you will find a lot of different tips. Not all of the tips will work for you. Some of the tips may not even make sense, right, for your own specific context. But hopefully, the fact that I've named it and the fact that you realize you are not alone, hopefully that helps you to start figuring out a pathway out of it. And I'm sure Mr. Mike, the second speaker, would have something to say about this as well. Did you get that?
Yeah, I get you, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry, but I always have a different way of approaching something. But what he said is perfect. All right. But I will add, whenever you feel like to quit, always quit. Okay. If you feel like to quit, try and quit. Okay. Now, and when next you want to start again, ask yourself if you are sure you're not going to quit again. And if your answer is you are still not ready to continue, just like that, time will be going, all right? And you'll just be watching others, just people like us, always speaking to you and always talking to you, whereas you should be on the stage. Now, I will give you an instance, okay? I like to reference something. There was a time I was I was feeling the same way you were feeling, and I tried to launch a particular product. Hello. That was 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah, I kept on having this fear that I'm going to fail, that I'm not going to succeed, or people may laugh at me. But let me tell you something, just like our previous speaker said, if you are thinking that you're the only person that is feeling that way, you are very, very wrong. Everybody that ever succeeded felt that way. But now, what makes you think that others that succeeded, they didn't feel that way? What makes you think that you cannot succeed? Now, I tried to convince myself that, no, I can't do that. I'm always afraid, let me not fail. But then, it didn't take up to a month, I see similar products being launched. And the people that are launching it are people that are much more capable than, and much more knowledgeable in that thing than. And till today, I still feel regret that I did not beat my fear. The thing is that fear will only want to hold you back. It's not like it's the solution. And if you keep on being scared, you will never make it, and you will never, never, never make it. So you have to continue telling yourself that fear is normal. It's part of the process. Failure is part of the process. Just like I shared before, my failure now of building my personal brand then is the reason I'm also venturing into certain things that I'm currently doing, and I'm still regretting it. So fear is part of it, but always tell yourself that the reward comes after you beat that fear to succeed. But like I said, why do you want to go into it in the first place? You should allow your fear to consume you, to overcome you. And what's regret that you cannot be? You just regret it for the rest of your life. All right?
All right, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Mr. Mike. Thank you so much for the response, Mr. Badi. That was a very good one. Okay, so the next question here is, and it goes to both speakers. How do I evolve my personal brand as I grow in my career? So I think Mr. Bade can start, and then Mr. Mike can chip in if he has anything to contribute.
I was hoping that Mr. Mike will start, but before I answer that, is part of the reason why we have multiple speakers is that you have multiple perspective to the same issue. No one person has all of the answers, and that's really part of why we have multiple perspectives in the room as well. And there's even a third perspective, which is your own perspective to that same question. How do I evolve? I mentioned a few things. So as you continue to grow, there are a number of things that you will start maybe zoning in on or getting better on. For example, when I talked about attending events, when you start, just show up at the events. That's all you want to do, right? Because you're probably, this is new to you. These are things that you're just finding out for the first time. But gradually, you may start seeing opportunities to volunteer, opportunities to help out, opportunity to whatever way, maybe write about it, market about it. Maybe they're calling for volunteers to help with sound, all of those kind of things. You are maybe not yet at the level where you can be on the stage, but at least you are helping out. You are evolving. And at the same time, you are growing, you are building a network. There are people that now know you at a certain level, right? And then over time, you may get the opportunity to then maybe say something for 5 minutes, or say something as part of what, or maybe selected as one of the people to ask the speakers questions, whatever it is, you are growing. But then gradually you go to a point where you may become one of the side speakers, maybe a large event, and then there are several sub-events, and you're one of the sub-event speakers. But eventually you may end up being the speaker on the main stage of such an event. But then gradually you may end up at a third event, for example. It's one of the ones that people look forward to speaking at in the career. So if you can see, what I was sort of painting there was some sort of graduation over a period of time. Now, that graduation may align with the growth of your experience. So, for example, you were a beginner and then at an intermediate level and then at an advanced level, but not always necessarily. The key point is if you are being intentional about how you are building that career and you are being intentional about how you are being visible, and there will be other opportunities that show up for you as well. There may be things that other people are not seeing. There may be a new social media platform, for example. There may be a new association. And all of the things we are seeing is not new. Even our fathers had to do the same, but they didn't have technology. So think about what they used to do. That's my parents, for example. So my dad was a banker and he had to join institutes like Chartered Institute of Bankers Association and all of that. And those institutes would have they would have branches, or your state branch, Lagos state branch, international branches, and so on. And people used to grow within those industry. You become the secretary and you're really proud. You become the chairman, you're really proud. So all of these things have actually existed for years as people were building careers. It's just that the dynamics have changed in the age of social media, in the age of AI, and in the age of accelerated growth. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, that was helpful. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Mr. Mike, please, do you have anything to contribute to that question? How do I evolve my personal brand as I grow in my career?
Okay, I will be very brief. What can anyone hear me?
We can hear you now.
While Mr. Mike gets back, I was going to also mention that my perspective around AI is exactly the same as Mr. Mike. What I had said during that session is that AI will not take your job, but somebody using AI will take your job, right? So where AI is at the moment is that AI can't operate by itself. There would likely be somebody behind that AI at the moment. We will get to a point in the whole growth of AI where we get to artificial general intelligence. At that point, AI would take over jobs fully. But where we are today, as of 2024, November, when we're recording this.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, you're back, Mr. Mike. You're back now. I was just saying that where we are today is that somebody using AI. So like the example Mr. Mike gave in his organization, they had a team of 20. They've reduced it to a team of 2, which is a team of 2 people using AI to complete the tasks. But sometime in the future, AI will complete the task without a need for a team at all. So I wanted to just clarify that. Thank you. Mr. Mike, please go ahead with the question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes. I can hear you now.
Okay, so I was asking if you have any
Sorry,
contributions.
I think I was having network issue. To answer, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's
So I
breaking,
was
but it's
saying,
better.
yeah, to answer that question, that what I've already said at what to do, and something that you'll be known for. Personal branding is not that too ambiguous or a very big this thing that is not easy to understand. First of all, figure out what you're good at. For instance, I myself, don't jump into something and don't try to jump these days. All right, start somewhere, be good at it, and move to the next, be good at that, so that anybody that comes across you will know you for that thing. And as time goes on, you keep on developing yourself, and people will begin to understand and also get used to the things that you do. I started as a very good graphic designer. Up to now, none of my friends before they had, though I don't have time to design anymore in my company and in every of my projects and businesses, we have graphic designers. Now, but my friends, they still come to me for support whenever they have any graphic work they want to do. They bring a graphic designer or they ask me to help them to refer them to somebody that can do it. They've known me for that I'm very good at this. And if I say I'm designing something for you, if I make up time and sit on my chair to design, I make sure that it comes out very creative and good. Now, because of that, they know me for that. And if I'm guiding also another graphic designer to do a project, I make sure that I guide them in a way that even those my friends will know that this is, Mike was involved in this. So because of that, they know me. Now, when I moved on to the next stage, to the next level, I keep on growing like that. Be good at what to do, that even those around you can always pick of it. Then as you're developing yourself, you keep on being good at it, that anytime you come around. Now, I wouldn't have been here if not because of what I do. That's part of the branding. I just finished speaking at FBS this afternoon. I wouldn't have been able to go there. And this is my first time in my life. And it was like a dream come true to speak there, to speak at LBS Lagos this morning. Now, had it been I wasn't there, had it been it's not because of the thing I'm doing in AI and education technology, I wouldn't have been there. That's part of personal branding. Almost every weekend or every week, I have at least two speaking engagements. They wouldn't come in those places. And in many of the people that we partner, once I approach them, I mention my name and the thing that we do. Of course, this is a digital era. The next thing, they will pull up their phone to Google about you. What have you done? What are you doing? Or what can always, always how you can
Okay, I think he's having a little network issue, so he's really breaking. I struggled to hear the last part of what he was saying. Okay, so while we wait for Mr. Mike to join in again, there's a question on the chat. I think Mr. Bade can go ahead to answer the question. And the question is, how do we balance building our personal brand and also ensuring that we are good at that skill? Because there's a trend where, as a beginner, you tend to focus more time, building yourself, putting the things you're learning out there than actually really learning the skills. So, how do we balance this situation, Mr. Bade?
Fantastic question. What I would say is, at a beginner level, spend 80% of your time building your skills. Spend 10% building experience, spend 10% building exposure at a beginner level. And then as you grow, you will start balancing it out up to a point where it would be about 40% skill, maybe 30% experience and 30% exposure. What do I mean in practice? You have 40 hours a week. If you are on a regular employment, 40 hours a week, that is 8 to 5 with a 1 hour break in between, right? If you calculate that 40 hours a week, spend just 4 hours of that week building your exposure, right? And so if you spend 4 hours, you can break it down to say just 30 minutes a day. I will spend on social media answering people's questions that are asking me questions about project management, or I will interact with other groups where just 30 minutes a week, that kind of thing. But if you structure it somehow, and of course, I'm not saying regiments and be regimented about it. I'm just saying that put some sort of structure in your life as regards this. Don't think of it as extracurricular, as I said during my session. think of it as part of what you are doing. It's part of your career building. So don't think of, oh, I'm building the skill and that's all I'm doing. Then this is just in addition. Think of it as a one bucket where I must learn skills, build experience, and build exposure. That is what I would say. Just figure out that balance and let it be part of that structure that you're doing. And so, because if there's a structure around it, it's the chances of you being consistent is higher.
That's a good one. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Mr. Mike, do you have anything to contribute there? The question is, okay, so the question is, how do we balance building our personal brand and also ensuring that we are good at our skill, especially as a beginner?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay, the question is, how do we balance building our personal tech brand and also ensuring that we are good at that skill, especially as a beginner?
How do we balance, okay, building our personal brand and also ensuring you are good at that skill?
Yeah.
First of all, you can't be the question, how do we balance building our personal brand and also ensuring that you are good? And if you are good, being good at that skill now helps you to build the personal brand. I mentioned it before that all you have to do is be good at it. Okay, we are seeing it like building a personal brand requires a full-time job. I don't know, personally, it doesn't require a full-time job. And I'm speaking based on the experience of somebody that failed at it. Because now I failed at it, not because I tried it. I didn't try it. I knew what to do, but I didn't do it. All right. Now I'm speaking from a failure perspective. Now, if you are good at it, now I said something earlier that I'm very good at this, at the things that I'm currently doing. As a matter of fact, is only one other education technology company in the whole of Africa at the moment that is currently using AI in their education technology platform. And we are the only one that have an in-house that is channeled only for our virtual campus. As a matter of fact, it doesn't answer any question that we cannot post on our platform. Anything that cannot be accessed on our platform, or any information that is not related to our offerings, our programs, our lectures, and all of that, our ODCI doesn't have it. We are the only education technology company that built that at the moment in the whole of Africa. And I'm very proud of that. And that is why I'm being invited to most of the platforms that I'm currently having, and most of the things that I'm currently going, and most of the things that people come to me for at the moment in terms of AI and education technology. So if I'm very good at it, the personal branding aspect of it comes naturally. All you have to do is just to put a little bit effort. You don't have to, it's not a full-time job. As long as you are very good at what you do, then you can be able to balance it. First of all, my immediate and short answer is be good at what you do, but along the line, try as much as possible to speak and to talk about what you do. That is how you bring up your personal brand out of it. So it's not a rocket science. And if you are always worried about your personal brand, building your personal brand, then you cannot be good at what you do. You cannot be good at that skill because you are dedicating most of your time being good at what. I've never reached out to people to speak, to invite me to speak before. I've never reached out to an organization. As a matter of fact, the only time I tried to do that, they rejected me. I'm serious. That was early last year. The guy, and he's a very good friend of mine that is following me. He's a very good, big platform, one of the biggest platforms. He asked me, somebody that I'm always talking to, he asked me to talk to his secretary. The secretary asked me to talk to one of his friends again. And they did not invite me. I did not speak there. That was the only time I tried to do this thing. I tried okay, that would be a very good platform for me to build my personal brand. They did not give it to me. But this year they invited me. But unfortunately, I've been invited by another person that same day, so I couldn't go. I told him that last year you did not invite me. Now this inviting me, I'm no longer available. You see, so what I'm saying is that try as much as possible to be good at what you do. People will come for you, but pay attention to your personal brand in the process. But if you are trying to put more effort in your personal brand, then you may end up not being good at what you do. If you go there, you will flop. But of course, like I said, failure like to go with failure. In terms of this personal brand, I failed at it, but you can be my companion. Nothing bad about that.
Wow, okay. That was good. That was a good one. Okay, so we're still taking more questions. So to the audience, do you have any more questions that you'd like to ask our speakers? Any question? I mean, we've stayed for more than 2 hours, and if you're not asking questions, I don't think everybody has it all figured out. So please ask questions. I would love to call names, but no, I'll leave it that way. So if you have questions or you feel you want to ask these questions later on, then you can also do well to join our community, where it's a vibrant community of tech experts and tech professionals. So you can ask questions, then you can collaborate, you can also network with other people in the community. So please do well to join our Bincom Tech Network community. All right, so we are gradually getting to the end of this session, building a strong personal tech brand. And I'm sure that each and every one of us has taken one or two things that would be long lasting in our minds, right? Like I always say at every event, it's not just about hearing it, it's about trying to make proactive steps into, putting all of this in place and actually doing what's necessary. We've learned about defining ourselves. We've learned about what we can do. We've learned about how we can put ourselves out, how we can be visible in our niche. We've also learned about building intentionally, and we've also learned about consistent learning. So all of this should not just end at the end of this session. Please share it with your friends, teach other people, also try to put them in practice. Okay, so Mr. Bade, please, do you have any last words for us? And then we'll take last words from Mr. Mike, and then we can call it a day.
I think you took my last words already right out of my mouth, which is be intentional, be consistent, and be growth oriented. Be intentional about your personal brand. It's a part of your career. It's not an addendum. Be consistent. Even if it's 1 minute a week, you can start with, or maybe 5. Do something and just be consistent with it. And as I mentioned earlier, if you are building a business, maybe you want to just check to see that you are not only building a business, you are also building your personal brand as well. I mentioned that earlier. And then growth, show growth to say, this is where I was before, this is where I am now. And that could also be helpful to your story. All the best.
All right, thank you so much for that. Those were really, really valid points, and I'm sure we've taken it into our brains, and they will not depart from us actually. So we'll put them into practice. Be very intentional. If you want something, you have to really mean it. All right. Okay, so Mr. Mike, please, any last words from you?
Okay, what I have to say is always start. Okay, one of my biggest experiences as a tech founder is the fact that you always think that you have figured it out, or you want to wait until you figure it out. If you're waiting until you figure everything out before you launch or before you start something, you will always have an excuse not to start. Okay, like I said, in my experience building a tech company is that there are so many things that you may never know until you launch. As a matter of fact, even those things you think that you have figured out, if you're waiting until you are perfect, if you're waiting until you have gotten it right, you will never figure it out, because there are so many things that you may not understand until people actually use that thing, or until people actually assess that thing, or until people see, depending on what you are doing or what you intend to build. So if you're always waiting until it's perfect or until it's the right time, you will never start. So first of all, start. Okay, those criticisms that you are going to get, they are very super good. no matter how they come, have thick skin to shoulder them, to endure them, but learn from it and also modify what you are doing and make it better. But if you're always waiting until this thing is perfect so that there will nobody that will criticize you, you always have the reason not to start. Okay. And another thing is be consistent. Lack of consistency in terms of my personal brand is the reason I am struggling in terms of personal brand now. So I know that is a problem that I'm going to, I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of it. But then, since I've been there and I'm now telling you, consistency is key. You have to be consistent in doing, in terms of personal branding, I'm not consistent. But if you see in terms of my business, my companies and the things I'm building, sometimes I'm working till midnight. Okay. I'm working till midnight, till the next morning, and I'm always doing it because I love it. So I'm consistent in it. That's why I'm finding it difficult to know why I'm not interested in personal branding for myself. Because in terms of everything, in terms of my businesses, my career, and then my work, I don't get tired doing it. I love doing it, and I'm always doing it. I'm consistent in that area, and I'm seeing how the thing is paying off. Okay, so try as much as possible to be consistent. Now, finally, endure. Always have patience. Now, going into tech, some of you may think that is exciting. It's something that you should always is very exciting, that there is no downside of it. As a matter of fact, some people are going into tech because they want to be free. They want to answer founders. They want to answer boss and all of that. Once you leave that your 8 to 5 job and become a founder of a tech company or work in a tech company, you lose your freedom. Now, I'm the founder and CEO of my company, but I'm answerable to our head of marketing, to our head of sales, to our project managers. One, as in every minute, they have something they want me to help them to do or to help them to review. Even as I'm speaking here, they've requested for the highlights of the distance in case they want to use it for the marketing and for anywhere I am, they feel that there's something that they can make out of it. Now, I can work till midnight, wake up, there's still work to do. Whereas when others are on holidays, you are not on holiday. So it's not always as exciting as that. So if you want to go into it, but it's very rewarding. What I would advise you is be prepared, be ready, have thick skin, and endure. Endurance pays much. Okay. So that is what I would advise you to do. But of course, you should always have the mind of your own and not follow the crowd so that you will not miss inside. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much for that. That was a very, very good one. Know why you're starting, all right? And then stick with that goal. You should, I don't know, but most people say I'm going into tech because there's money in tech. Sha, just be sure you're going. He said if you know you want to quit, please quit. But when you're restarting, know that this time around you're not going to quit, or ask yourself if you're going to quit when you restart. So please define why you're starting or you're going into that tech career, all right? So you don't find yourself caught up in confusion. Okay, so this has been, man, it's been an interesting one for me. I really enjoyed this session. I took note of a lot of things, and I'm sure you did the same. Again, I'm going to talk to you about the Bincom Dev Center Gen AI Hackathon that is coming up on the 6th and 7th of December. So please, if you've not registered for this hackathon, I don't even know what you're waiting for. You can register as a participant, you can register as an observer. If you love to judge, if you love to criticize, if you're a good critic and you want to be a judge, you can also register as a judge for the upcoming Gen AI Hackathon. I'd love to see you there. So please do well to register. The link is in the chat. So if you've not registered and you're here, please do well to register. I would love to see all of you. Thank you so much for taking out time to be a part of this event. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your contribution. And to our amazing speaker, it was really awesome having you both here, and I'm really grateful to have you here, and I'm happy that you were able to share your experience. You were able to give us insight based on your experience, and we believe that this would help us improve our own tech career and would also help us build our own personal brand. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Do have a lovely, lovely weekend. Shalom.